Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 24th week in review, week 24 here on my channel of learning to draw one day at a time. As usual, I'll start by looking over my poses. I do these every day, so I'm kind of doing them on autopilot to the point where I'm not really focused like at all when I'm doing them, really. Sometimes I'll notice something, but on days like today, I like this one, by the way. Every now and then I just have no idea what to say. So that's today, you know. I don't know. I don't know what I want to talk about with these. Let's just look at them, shall we? I used a different brush this day. I changed it though because it was a little too faint. I think I changed it like halfway through the next day or something, but these ones are pretty good. I'm still kind of struggling with the making sure that there's enough space in between here. Like this is a little too compact, you know. From time to time it happens, but like some of these are nicely spaced. That's kind of the main issue I'm having lately, I guess. At least today. Let's look at some of these other days. And like when there's a lean like this, trying to make sure that I have that space in between is really important. I'm finding that a lot of the time, just the torso and the pelvis are too close. That's like a consistent main problem that I have. That and like the head size. Although the heads, they usually look okay, but like sometimes they're too small. Other times maybe they're a little too big, like this. But you know, just the same old problems. I think I went back to the other brush today here, using my standard pencil. Nothing really to say, right? What else is there? There's really nothing. I'm pretty happy with them in general. Like I feel like I understand the construction well enough to like build something like this, and as long as I have nice reference and I take my time, I can kind of get like a nice balance and like proportion to stuff. You know, like this baseball one here. I think a lot of the time they look pretty good. Some of the poses are really difficult. Like this one, I remember really struggling with this one because it was like there's a real lean back to it that I don't know if I really got across very well. But for the most part, I think things, as usual, like I'm saying but all the time, you know, I have nothing to say. It's just fine. Every day is just fine. I don't have anything to say. Some of these action ones are fun too, where I feel like poses like this, I can use more gesture, like a line of action sort of thing. I'll use that stuff occasionally, but for the most part, I don't really use it. I'll just kind of slowly build the pose, you know, piece by piece, one at a time, you know. But every now and then I'll get something like this where I'll just kind of go shoom and like shoom, shoom, you know. Sometimes it's just, maybe you could see the gesture a little more, maybe it's just me, I don't know. And then here's today's. I think today was pretty good. I got a good, I woke up early, so I've been awake for a while. I'm not as tired as I usually am. A lot of these ones look pretty good. Again, like proportionally, I think they're fine. And again, like with the gesture, following that line from the arm down, almost all the way into the leg even. Sometimes you can do that. So yeah, another week of poses down. I see these as just kind of generally as a warm-up, but they're pretty fun. And they're a good way to kind of double check that I'm paying attention. Anyway, that's my poses for the week. Into the recap here. So I started some fan art the previous week. This is 7/22, so that is what? I started on Saturday of last week, so I'm just including them for continuity's sake. This day and then this day was the next day I did a bit of the color. But then on the 25th, which is the start of this week, is where this is where this week begins, I guess. And what did I do here? Just the coloring. So I did a bit of shading, like with a kind of, you know, like this sort of stuff on the hair here and there. This is some fan art of two VTubers, by the way, Laplace Darkness and Akami Karubi as cops. And today I really wanted to get back at doing these kind of bordered shadows. So this was really fun. Like I think the uniforms turned out really good. The shadows on the legs in here and stuff. I really like doing the shadows like this. It's really, really fun. Like a cel shaded look. So I think this turned out pretty good. This was day 3 of 5, I guess. And I didn't get to the shadows on her yet. I only did lot plus on this day. And then on the next day, we got to her shadows here, Karui's shadows. And I made some minor adjustments here, like changing the color of the shadows on the uniform. Might be hard to notice, but they went from blue to red. But again, like this sort of stark lighting is really fun to do. And I think this hand turned out really well. I'm really proud of the hands. Pretty much all of the hands in general, like this one. I think the wrist here is a little weird. It's a little fat looking, but the fingers look great, I think. And same over here. I'm really happy with, well, this hand is kind of just whatever, right? But I'm happy with how the lighting looks on the fingers too. Really took my time with it. I think her face is a little weird. I don't know, that's fine, you know. The next day, this is the final version. So it was 5 days total. I don't remember how long I took in order to finish this, but I tried doing a little bit of effects, you know, like some like a glow, stuff like that, and like a paper texture. It's kind of cool. It might be a little overkill, but I don't know. I was just messing around and having fun. Turned out pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. So I decided to do more kind of large scale drawings. After doing this one, it was really fun, so I thought, you know, I'll do another one where I spend, you know, at least 3 days on it, sort of thing. So I figured for this was the 27th, right, that I finished this, which was Thursday. So I thought for Friday, Saturday and Sunday, I would work on my take for the prompt for the end of July here. Today's the 31st. The prompt for July was summer. So when I think of that, I think of like, I don't know, the first thing I thought to mind was like scuba diving, I guess, eh? If you can't tell. So this was day one of that. All in all, I think this was about 8 or 9 hours total. I wanted to get like the rough idea down, the rough sketch. So that was this day. And I think it turned out really good. I used reference for pretty much everything. Like this pose, more or less I just used reference for. I changed the arms and the legs a little bit. But the main, this kind of stuff, not the hair, I guess, was pretty much done from reference. So it made it a lot easier. These fish I did basically from scratch. I had reference for like the design of the fish, but I was like basically just winging it. These bubbles I did from reference. So it's really fun. My first time doing like an underwater scene, so stuff like fish and stuff like that was all brand new to me. Next day I did the line art and just a really simple pass, like a color pass to get the idea down of what I wanted to do for the color. And I kind of made a mistake here in at the very end I did the background really quick, and I left all this stuff on the same layer as like the blue background, which probably wasn't the best idea. Like basically everything in the background is all on one layer. So I kind of messed myself up for the next day, but it didn't really wind up being that much of an issue. But it's something I learned, you know, little things like that you don't realize are so important, or you think like you maybe don't have to take it too seriously, but like really keeping organized with your layers is really important. That's what I learned from this day. So that's that. Again, just a really simple kind of light and shadow just on the hair, just a quick to get the idea across. And then the next day I finished up the coloring, and again I added some effects. I tried using a lot of layer effects and like really trying to bring everything together, you know, because if you look at this, it's like the parts all seem very separate, and like the hair and all these fish, they seem like they're not really, they're almost like cells floating in their own world, kind of pasted onto each other, sort of thing. And I think using layer effects is a good way to achieve that sort of unity. It's like a working theory I have. I don't usually use these sort of layer properties like multiply and overlay and all this stuff, right? So I want to start doing that a little more. Getting better at that sort of thing. So this is kind of my first shot at that. Trying to link everything together, you know? Trying to make sure that the same light is hitting everything. That sort of thing. So again, I kept the background very simple. I just basically kept my rough sketch lines, and then just kind of worked in some color in between in the ins and outs here, and it looks fine. Right, the background isn't the main focus, so I'm okay with it being a little rough. I think I'm really happy with the background water. I spent a lot of time on this. like a lot of time, little adjustments here and there, changing the color up, doing it a little darker, adding a little more green in here. And like I spent a lot of time making little adjustments here and there and like trying to make a gradual shift from like the brightness kind of into the more dark. It was really fun. And like again over here, same thing with like, this is supposed to be a boat. It doesn't really look like a boat, but you know, it doesn't really matter, right? It's in the background. And for, there's my stomach grumbling. Generally, the overall composition I thought was to kind of have like a big curve kind of running like this, and then like maybe looping around, sort of this sort of thing. If you can see these arrows, they might be a little hard to see. But I wanted to bring these fish kind of swimming around this way, kind of following the curve created by the coral, kind of like this. We've got a bird tweeting outside. So that was like the idea for the composition. I'm also really proud of these bubbles. I just winged them, you know. I looked at some bubbles and just winged it. They turned out great. Did a bit of texture on the fish too. They have like a bit of a scale look. There's a lot to talk about with this one, I guess. I don't usually talk this much about the stuff I do, but I guess because I put so much work into it, there's more to talk about. I don't know, I'm really proud of this one, so. What else do I have to say? Not a whole lot. I like this paper texture look. I use the same kind of texture that I used for this one. It's the same, it's just a paper thing that I got off the, it's like an old poster feel kind of texture that I got from the free asset store on Clip Studio. And it looks really good. Again, trying to bring like a consistency across everything, you know. I want to start doing that a little more, so I learned a lot with that. Also with the coloring, you'll notice that I didn't do the same shadows that I usually do with the stark lines. I kind of blended it a bit because I felt it looks more underwatery. I kind of lost a bit of it as I was adding some of these effects. Like I said, I think I overdid it, but like having a bit of almost like refracted look with some of the shadows across. This is a little too green, right? There's some things that I would do differently if I were to redo this one, but overall I'm really happy with it. I don't want to go on too long here, so I'll leave it there, I guess. So that's my my submission for this month's prompt, which was summer. So that was a lot of fun. Do I have anything else to say? I guess not, eh? That's my week in review. So thanks for watching, as always, and I'll be back next week with some more. Take it easy, eh? Goodbye. Cut.